Thank you for joining us this evening for our city council meeting. We'll go ahead and get started. Brianna, could you please call the roll?
Cheatham.
Here.
Lorick. Here. Mangum.
Here.
Mansfield.
Here.
Nichols.
Here.
Paulson.
Here.
Glad.
Here. If you'd please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, after which, if you would remain standing for a moment of silence in place of the invocation.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've always heard to say the prayer.
Thank you. We will move to agenda item 3 as a consent agenda. The following business items may be approved by one motion and a vote. If any one member of the council so desires, any matter listed can be moved to a separate agenda item. A, minutes. Council may wish to waive the oral reading of the minutes and approve the minutes from the clarification and regular city council meetings of January 18, February 1, February 15, 2024, and work session meetings of January 11 and February 8, 2024. B, material claims. Council may wish to approve the material claims for the period of March 16 through 31, 2024. C, treasurer's report. Council may wish to approve the treasurer's report for February 2024, showing cash and investments as of February 29, 2024. D, Animal Shelter Advisory Board appointment. Council may wish to confirm the mayor's appointment of Teresa Erickson Rodriguez to serve as a member of the Animal Shelter Advisory Board, filling a vacancy. Teresa's term will begin April 5, 2024 and expire April 5, 2026. E, declaration of surplus property 2024 city auction. Council may wish to declare items identified as surplus property to be sold at the city's annual auction on May 11, 2024. City departments submitted lists of items that they consider surplus, and those were reviewed by other departments. The items to be considered surplus are not needed by any other departments within the city.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move that we accept or approve the consent agenda and agenda item number 3, items A through E.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Council President Lurick and a second by Councilmember Mangum. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Lorick.
Yes.
Mangum.
Yes.
Cheatham.
Yes.
Mansfield.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Paulson.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 4 is proclamations. We have 4 proclamations tonight. They will go in this order. Week of the Young Child, Councilmember Nichols will read. Month of the Military Child, Councilmember Lurick will read. Council President Lurick will read. The World Wish Month, Councilmember Mangum will read, and Fair Housing Month, Councilmember Paulson will read. Councilmember Nichols.
The proclamation. Whereas the Idaho Association for the Education of Young Children, Idaho AEYC, is celebrating the Week of the Young Child from April 6th through the 12th, 2024. And whereas we are working to promote and inspire high-quality early experiences for our state's youngest citizens that can provide a foundation of learning and success for children in Pocatello, Idaho, and whereas teachers and others who work with or on behalf of young children, birth age through 8, who make a difference in the lives of young children in Pocatello deserve thanks and recognition, and whereas public policies that support early learning for all young children are crucial to young children's futures and to the prosperity of our society, now therefore, Brian C. Bladd, Mayor of the City of Pocatello, does hereby proclaim April 6th through the 12th of 2024 to be the Week of the Young Child in Pocatello, Idaho, encourages all citizens to work to support and invest in early childhood in Pocatello.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. Absolutely. If you'd like to say something, we've got about a minute if you'd like to say anything.
Oh.
But if you turn around and talk to the council.
Hi, y'all. I'm Carrie, Giesbrecht, owner of Carrie's Corner Childcare. I don't know if you understand how much this actually means to us. We advocate and value our young people every day of the year, but to have a week dedicated is pretty special. So thank you.
Okay, I hope I can get through this. Whereas this is strange. Whereas April designated to celebrate the month of the military child and is an opportunity to recognize military children for their courage, personal sacrifices, and resilient spirit. And whereas the strength of our armed forces comes not just from those who wear the uniform, but their families who also serve on behalf of our country. And whereas military children continue to make significant contributions to family and community as they endure prolonged and repeated absences of one or both parents. And whereas these children and youth are a source of pride and honor to us all, and it is only fitting that we take time to recognize their contributions and celebrate their spirit. And whereas the month of the military child will recognize the service and sacrifices of military children, the citizens of Pocatello will be afforded the opportunity to don the color purple every Friday in April in support of these children. Now, therefore, I, Brian C. Bladd, Mayor of the City of Pocatello, do hereby proclaim April 2024 to be Month of the Military Child in Pocatello, Idaho, and encourage all citizens to observe the month with appropriate honor, support, and gratitude for military children.
You two are just sitting there. And Heidi's, you're not even coming up? There you go. Would you want, hold on, let's come over here. Come over here. One of you here, one of you there. There we go. There we go. Okay. Oh, look there. Melissa's worried about not having a picture. Did you get your picture?
I'm in a video.
Okay, good deal.
Okay.
Okay, so you have about a minute to go ahead and say something. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Kirsten Young. I am a military child, and being a military child is not easy. There's a lot of missed birthdays, concerts, games, and holidays. Being a military child requires a lot of sacrifice that oftentimes goes unnoticed. There are programs such as the Idaho National Guard Child and Youth Program that helps these military children feel connected to each other and to their community. This program provides camps in winter and summer and events in between for them to feel connected to each other. On behalf of the Child and Youth Program and to military children in Pocatello and throughout Idaho, we thank you for recognizing the month of the military child.
A proclamation. Whereas on April 29th, 1980, Department of Public Safety officers and members of the community in Phoenix, Arizona came together to grant the wish of Chris Grecius, a 7-year-old boy battling leukemia who wished to be a police officer. And whereas Chris's wish inspired 6 of the people involved to form a foundation that would grant life-changing wishes for other children with critical illnesses. And whereas the organization known as Make-A-Wish has since granted more than 520,000 wishes worldwide, operating in every community in the United States and in nearly 50 countries worldwide. And whereas Make-A-Wish Idaho was founded in 1986 and has granted more than 2,000 wishes that deliver hope and joy back into the lives of children with critical illnesses in Idaho. And whereas research has shown that wishes can improve a child's quality of life and produce better health outcomes, for when a wish is granted, a child replaces fear with confidence, anxiety with hope, and sadness with joy. And whereas April is the anniversary of Chris Grecius's wish that inspired the founding of Make-A-Wish, and subsequently Make-A-Wish Idaho, and the global wish granting movement. Now, therefore, I, Brian C. Blad, Mayor of the City of Pocatello, do hereby proclaim April 2024 to be World Wish Month in Pocatello, Idaho, and encourage all citizens to observe the month and appreciate, honor, support, and gratitude.
If you'd like to, you're welcome to say a few words.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Reese Baker. In 2015, Simone Biles won her third all-around national title. And in 2015, I was 6 years old and diagnosed with B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia. Here's a picture. My blood type is B positive. I looked up to Simone Biles during those 3 years I spent in chemotherapy. In 2018, Make-A-Wish granted me to make my wish to meet Simone Biles, the greatest of all time. April is Make-A-Wish month and my birthday. I want to say thank you to all the volunteers, corporate donors, the city of Pocatello for supporting Make-A-Wish from all of us kids. Wishes do come true thanks to you. Be positive.
That needed extra.
Yeah. That didn't do it.
Proclamation. Whereas April 2024 marks the 56th anniversary of the passage of Title VIII of the Civil Rights Act of 1968, commonly known as the Federal Fair Housing Act, and whereas equal opportunity for all, regardless of race, color, religion, sex, disability, familial status, national origin, or sexual orientation and/or gender identity or expression, is a fundamental goal of our city, and whereas equal access to housing is an important component of this goal, as fundamental as the right to equal education and employment, and whereas housing is a critical component of family and community health and stability, and whereas housing choice impacts our children's access to education, our ability to seek and retain employment options, the cultural benefits we enjoy, the extent of our exposure to crime and drugs, the quality of healthcare we receive in emergencies, and whereas the laws of this nation, our state, and our city seek to ensure such equality of choice for all transactions involving housing, and whereas ongoing education and outreach promoted by the City of Pocatello through the Community Development Block Grant Advisory Committee and the Fair Housing Act resources at City Hall are key to raising awareness of fair housing principles, practices, rights, and responsibilities, and whereas only through continued cooperation, commitment, and support of all Pocatellans can barriers to fair housing be removed. Now, therefore, I, Brian C. Blad, Mayor of the City of Pocatello, do hereby proclaim the month of April 2024 to be Fair Housing Month in the City of Pocatello and urge citizens and businesses to increase their awareness of the Fair Housing Act as amended so that all citizens will receive equal opportunities for housing in our community.
Thank you. You've got about a minute.
All right, I'll be
Thank
brief.
you.
Christine Howe, Grants Manager for the City of Pocatello. Thank you to the mayor and members of the council for declaring April Fair Housing Month. I would like to do this annually to just bring attention to the Fair Housing Act. The city is responsible for affirmatively furthering fair housing since we are recipients of federal HUD funding. And we do have a training on April 16th for any housing providers or agencies that are involved in housing, and that's our Fair Housing Basics training. So we would encourage any folks who are interested in attending that to please come on April 16th. We'll also be promoting education and information about the Fair Housing Act through our social media platforms. So we would encourage you to check those out this month. But fair housing is something we do year-round, so if any folks have questions or concerns, you can reach out to our office directly. Thank you again, and we appreciate the Fair Housing Month for April and all the other proclamations for these very worthy organizations. It's been pretty inspiring to see these folks here today, so thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
if I might wish Miss Reese a happy birthday and tell you you're an inspiration and congratulations.
Thank you. Okay, thank you. We'll move to agenda item number 5 is a calendar review. Council may wish to take this opportunity to inform other council members of upcoming meetings and events that should be called to their attention. April 11, 9 a.m. will be a city council work session. April 18, 4 p.m., city council, or special city council meeting. 5:30 p.m., council clarification meeting. 6 p.m., regular city council meeting. Other events, annual spring cleanup at city cemeteries is underway. Crews will remove and discard all flowers and decorations. Citizens are asked to remove all decorations, etc., they have placed on the cemetery space if they wish to avoid disposal of the items by staff. Cleanup is expected to continue through the end of April. April 6th, Zoo Idaho will open weekends only. Beginning May 1st, the zoo will be opened every day. April 19, city's annual hiring fair from 2 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Public Works Annex at 2405 Garrett Way. Compost happens April 1st through the last full week of November. Yard waste carts will be picked up the same day as your regular collection day. We'll move to agenda item 6 is a public hearing, annexation of Craft Road. This time has been set aside for the council to hear comments from the public regarding a request the City of Pocatello Engineering Department and Planning and Development Services Department to annex and zone property along Craft Road and Gaithy Road. The subject land consists of 33 acres, more or less, which includes 20 parcels of privately owned land and 2 parcels of publicly owned land. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommend approval of their request following a public hearing held on March 13, 2024. I declare the public hearing opened. Merrill.
Merrill Coyle, the Public Works Engineer for the City of Pocatello. I will start the presentation as the applicant, being the Pocatello, and then Jim Anglesey will conclude with his portion with the zoning and so forth. So as the applicant before you tonight is a city-initiated annexation request. A short background why the city is the applicant for this annexation request. For years, city staff has looked at the intersection of Gaithy Road, Craft Road, and North Main Extension. As you may recall, this is a less than desirable intersection. Craft Road and Gaithy Road falls within the jurisdiction of Bannock County. And since 2006, I have personally worked with developers and some property owners towards solutions for realignment of Foothill Boulevard that would tie into Craft Road approximately 800 feet to the west of this intersection, creating a new intersection. Also, Gaithy Road would terminate in a cul-de-sac and would eliminate this undesirable intersection. In 2023, the city applied for a Rebuilding America Infrastructure with Sustainability and Equity Grant, or a RAISE grant, and was successfully awarded $7,750,000 towards implementing the plan to realign the roads, add a signal, install pedestrian facilities, and many other appurtenances in the area. To better facilitate the grant obligation, it is best that the area falls within one jurisdiction. As stated by County Commissioner, it would be best if the city would annex the area. Therefore, the city is the applicant to this annexation. To speak to the infrastructure for a moment and answer questions that was presented at the Planning and Zoning meeting, public hearing held on March 13th, 2024. Water services, the property owners are encouraged to connect to city water, but it is not required. However, if a connection is made, city requirements, standards, and fees will apply at the time of the connection. Sewer services, the property owners are encouraged to connect to the city sewer system where available, but is not required. However, once their individual system fails, they will be required to hook to the city system. All city requirements, standards, fees will apply at the time of connection. Sanitation services. Property owners are required to contact the city utility billing, sign up for the city garbage pickup 30 days after the final reading of the ordinance if the annexation passes. There will be a $150 deposit required for each account per city code. If a commercial account requires the sanitation trucks to enter the property, a right of entry agreement shall be signed. The streets and right-of-way within the annexation area will be under the jurisdiction of the city street department. Maintenance of the roadways will be done by the city. All other city codes will apply. These areas will be under the city fire and police protection area. All existing buildings or businesses that meet county standards currently will fall under the definition of legal non-conforming if the annexation is approved. Existing animals such as livestock will also be considered legal non-conforming. There may need to be an agreement filed which memorializes the existing conditions. This is the end of my presentation, and I'll be willing to answer any questions the city council may have probably after Jim gives his presentation.
Oh, before we go to Jim, any questions real quick for Merrill?
Mayor, if I could, I'm not sure if this is a question for Merrill or for Jim. I'm curious how the parcel division is for those who want the annexation and those who do not.
Jim will answer that within his presentation.
Thank you.
Any others before he leaves? All right, he's left, so it's too late. You're good.
Long meeting.
That's right. That's right.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and members of the council. Jim Anglesey, Long Range Planner for the city. Before you is a city-initiated annexation request to annex and zone property along Craft and Gaethje Road. As stated, the subject land consists of 33 acres more or less and includes 20 parcels of privately owned land and 2 parcels of publicly owned land. 3 of the parcels are designated residential on the city future land use map and is proposed to be zoned residential medium density multifamily or RMM. And the remainder of the subject land is designated mixed use on the future land use map and is proposed to be zoned residential commercial professional or RCP. The annexation request is in statutory compliance with Idaho State Code section 50-222 as a category B annexation, which allows annexation to take place in circumstances where the subject land contains less than 100 separate private ownerships and platted lots of record, and where not all such landowners have consented to annexation. As proposed, the subject property is within the adopted area of city impact and lies contiguous to the city of Pocatello municipal boundary. The subject land includes property owners who have either provided written consent, implied consent, meaning they are currently connected to a utility system operated by the city, or no consent to the proposed annexation. Notice for this public hearing has met all state and local requirements. All affected property owners, as well as property owners within 300 feet of the external boundaries of land being considered, have been provided notice of the public hearing in order that they may provide comment on the proposed annexation. In accordance with Idaho State Code Title 50, Chapter 2, affected property owners have been provided more than 28 days notice of this proposed annexation and have been provided an annexation plan, as well as opportunity to provide comment on the proposal. Written comments received by staff have been provided in your agenda packet. And in consideration of the application, staff concludes that this proposed annexation is compliant with Pocatello City Code. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to answer questions the council may have.
Council Member Cheatham, and then Nichols, and then Paulson.
Mr. Mayor, Jim, if I may, I'm curious how the parcel division is on those who are either implied or have given written consent or who are not consenting.
So how many are implied?
In each of those categories.
And so the ones that are implied are ones that are hooked into either sewer or water. I believe 2 of those properties are connected. Merrill may correct me on that, but I believe it's 2. And then consent, several of those parcels are owned by one owner. About 8 parcels of those are by one owner, and they have consented, and they're not connected. And the rest are no consent.
Which, do you know how many acres the others, so it's the other 10?
Yeah, about that, yep.
No consent. Mr. Mayor, if I could follow up. Do you know what the acreage division is among those various categories?
Say that again.
The acreage division, how many acres each of those categories represents?
I don't have that off the top of my head.
Thank you.
Okay. Councilmember Nichols?
I already had you just answered my question.
Okay. Councilmember Paulson?
Mine was answered too.
Okay. Well, that's efficient. Any other questions for Jim while he's up? Okay, thank you. Jim, has there been any written correspondence that we have not seen?
No.
Okay, Madam Clerk, have we received any in your office that we have not seen?
No.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Then I would look for any testimony supporting the application. I would look for any testimony uncommitted to the application.
Council, Mr. Mayor, my name is Brandon Hepworth, and we own the property on Craft Road that's to be annexed. And we're in support of this primarily because we think that intersection is the best for the community. I grew up there. My grandparents bought that in the 40s, or my great-grandparents rather, and we've seen numerous issues, and as it gets busier, it just continually gets worse and more congested. Aside from that, there's been wells in the area that the nitrates are getting high, so for that purpose, I know something about the sewer business, and I know that that's a continual problem, and so we're very much in support of this, mostly just because we feel like it's the natural progression that's best for the community. I would note that I've had several people comment since the signs have gone up, reached out to me of people that I felt like were friends, associates, and people I didn't know at all that have expressed a wanting to encourage me to be contrary and to just oppose this on really no basis that I could see at all. And for that, I'm baffled. If they had a reason, maybe I give it some more thought, but I can't see any particular reason why we shouldn't go forward with it. So that's why we're in support of it. It's mostly just we feel like it's the natural progression to make the community a little better. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Any others uncommitted?
Good evening, Council. Heather Disselkoon. I just wanted to ask a question or really make more of a point. One of the things that I don't hear in these types of hearings is what's the cost? I know this is relatively a small area that's being annexed in, and you're going to now be taking in new taxes. But just like at the legislature, whenever you pass a bill, there's always a cost assigned to it. I just would like to see going forward some sort of analysis of, this is what it's going to cost in extra. We got this many more lane miles to pave, to sweep, to plow, versus, we estimate this many calls in a given year for the fire and police and just some sort of analysis. And so that's just my comment. I think that should be part of the consideration, especially on larger annexations, not so much this one. Thank you.
Thank you. Any others uncommitted to the application?
Nikki Taysom, General Delivery, Pocatello, Idaho. Thank you. I'm opposed for several things. One, because I'm assuming it's currently county. And with the city, if you own part of the property and it's in county boundaries right now, I would ask that that be sold. That's one clarification I want. And two, that people will lose part of their freedoms of having to pay for a dumpster even on their property. And also, like she said, it does increase cost to those others that are impacted by it. And it can be worked out through the other channels of not having to annex. I'm all about preserving pieces of land that are larger for families to raise their children on. And I know the area, and yeah, it can be a nightmare sometimes, but I don't approve the annexation, and I'm the same way. What will this cost in the long run? And that just what freedoms will people lose, and will the city taxes be higher than what they're currently paying? Anyway, there's different things that I have concerns about and questions that I didn't see answered at the moment. And again, I would like that answered of, if you have property if this is county jurisdiction, then the county or city, I ask that you sell that and not do this annexation and work together with the county to address that intersection. Thank you. Share it in the name of Jesus.
Thank you, Nikki. Any others uncommitted to the application?
Did you take the pen?
Nikki, do you still have the pen? There we go. Thank you.
I'm Elaine Proxel Bailey, and I live at 8354 North Gathey. I'm uncommitted. I am one of the two people that are currently hooked up to, I have a sewer to the city. At the advisement of council, he said me to state this one more time. A lot of you have already heard it. Just my uses of the property. I currently have a storage business. There's like 20 plus vehicles parked that I charge for. I have a pasture for rent. I live there. I have a lot of livestock, different varieties. I just want to be able to maintain that. I do understand the need for this, for public safety and the roads and emergency services. So I understand it and I get it. I just want to preserve my way of living. So I just want to note my historical pre-existing non-conforming use of my personal property. Can I give you guys a letter from me?
You can surely hand it to me and I'll deliver it. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you, Elaine. Oh, I need to give you one. There you go. Any others uncommitted to the application? Any opposed to the application?
I thought you had asked for opposed, and I meant to be opposed.
That's okay. I wrote you down as opposed here anyway, so.
My name is Haley Cowdell. I currently live at a residence on Gathey Road. Can I present this letter really quick?
If you just hand it, yeah, there you go. Thank you.
I'm presenting on behalf of my grandmother and the June Elder Revocable Trust. I know we've already done this and we've already heard it, and there have been a lot of questions that have been answered. but we just want to make sure that our family's livelihood and what we built as a family gets to be maintained and gets to continue as a legacy. I wanted to formally present the letter and express for my grandmother and the whole family the concerns of the annexation. Pocatello RV Storage is the business located in the affected area. It's about over 5 acres. So those who were the non-consent, I can answer that. That was us. About 5 acres have not done that approval. There's livestock, a rental that I'm currently living in, and several accessory structures. My grandmother's concern, our concern, is that we be allowed to continue the use of the property as it is currently used. We want to establish the historical pre-existing non-conforming uses of the property and have it grandfathered. My grandmother and grandfather have built the business over the last 40 years. The value of the business is not only in the operation of the business, but in the ability to sell it as the business as it is now. The property itself is essentially the business. My grandparents spent most of the adulthood building it, and my grandma needs the income of the storage and the company of the livestock. This property has been their life's work, and the reward would not be realized if they are not allowed the historical pre-existing non-conforming uses. It's also going to significantly increase our property taxes on that property, just from the business standpoint, so that's going to be cut into profits even further. We are aware that we are currently using it as mixed-use zoning, and we are aware that it's intended to be zoned for RCP. And with that, we have that self-storage, the RV park, the recreational vehicle site, the animal-related businesses, and they're all not permitted in the RCP zoning. We cannot 100% determine the proper definition of our business based on the definitions in city code, but my grandma would like to make sure that we are allowed to use the property as we currently are, not only after annexation, but in the future. Different members of the family, some of which do not live on site, manage and help with the business. Management will change in the future as time depends and we all get older. I hope that's much farther in the future. The buildings for the storage also occupy a percentage of the property and far exceed the square foot of the primary dwelling as an accessory structure. The setbacks and the minimal space between structure, the height of the fences might also not reflect the current city code. To recap, there is a business, a residential dwelling, a residential rental, livestock, 5 large buildings with over 100 indoor parking spaces, open parking of 70 vehicles on the parcels, and June Elder wants to establish the historical pre-existing non-conform use of the property, and when the time comes to sell, we want the assurance that the property can be sold as an RV storage business it is today.
Thank you. That was pretty good. You got it just about right on time. Okay, any others opposed to the application? Okay. I don't know, 2 of you are back, both of you come up. So Merrill and Jim, I don't know who would be best to answer this, but we'll give you the opportunity to answer a couple of these questions. I think the questions really, one was a statement, so I'm not going to worry about the statement part, but great. One of the questions were, we've got existing businesses now, and maybe that's it, there we go. Thank you. We've got existing businesses now that are not going to be in compliance with the zoning that is proposed. And we've got one that wants to make sure that will be able to they'll be able to run their business into the future, so help us with that.
Yes, in the staff report, I alluded to that, and there was the questions at the planning and zoning. So to reiterate, that the businesses, as long as everything is meeting the county standards as they are now, the current standards, they will be legal non-conforming uses and be more or less what they say grandfathered. If they sell them, they will still be a legal non-conforming use as long as they continue as they are now, currently. So that's where we are. Same with the livestock, and that we've checked into that. The only thing that I did put for the livestock is that maybe we should have an agreement to memorialize that, just so that we know what is going on. I just didn't want anything in the future coming back when we've all gone, and now we've got a cattle rendering plant that never was there, but, we had that when we're annexing, just so that everybody is protected, their rights as well as the new rights as others are moving in.
Okay.
Want to add anything?
Councilmember,
Let's go Mansfield.
which one is you again? Mansfield.
It's he can't remember our names. It's not that he doesn't know which one.
Turn your sign so he can read it, Josh.
This is for mayor now. The memorialization, specifically for my question with, I guess I'll ask it for both the structures as well as the livestock. Livestock, let's say currently, I'm looking at pictures, but let's say it's 6 horses, right? If they were to, for example, those horses were to pass away, they wanted to get new horses, that memorialization will protect their right to have livestock in that capacity in which they currently use it, correct? Not just that specific livestock.
Right. That's our understanding. As long as they live there and they are the tenants, the livestock would stand. If they sold to someone else and everything, that would go away as far as the livestock goes.
Business is okay, livestock is not.
Businesses are okay, but the livestock would not. And that's why trying to memorialize that in an agreement to any conflicts into the future with other houses being sold and neighbors moving in and saying, why are these 6 horses here? They shouldn't be here. It's in the city limits. We say, okay, no, they had horses. They have this right. And that was the only reason for maybe putting something in an agreement that has there so that it kindles the conflicts in the future.
Okay.
So if the livestock is a part of the business,
if it's a business, then we're talking differently, yes. If they can show that it is a business, then that right, and it conforms to the county, then again, that should be probably memorialized as it moves on as part of a business.
I appreciate the concerns of the people who stood up and said that, hey, this is my house, this is what we've been doing, this has been here for generations, and I just want to make sure that we're doing the right thing to protect them, also protecting the city at large and, safety issues and the water rights and all that stuff. But I really want to make sure that they're taken care of and that we're not just, for lack of better words, bulldozing and making them just conform to what we are just saying this is what they have to be. And so I want to make sure that we do what's best for them.
And we agreed as staff, and that's what we heard at the planning and zoning. So we wanted to make sure that council was fully aware of what we were hearing and did check into the things. So that's why we could say they're legal non-conforming, and this is where we are at this. And we do have some rough numbers too that was put together and through the plan. So we do that. The next annexation is a lot bigger. You'll see a lot more in the future when we do that as one of those comments came up too.
Mr. Mick, a follow-up.
Go ahead.
So how is this recorded to make sure that there is that assurance late down the road that, hey, this is legal non-conforming?
Give me a second.
Because they're going to want proof, right? Down the road, like, hey, I need proof that...
The memorialization of like the animals and stuff can be put in there, and with the address and the parcels, as long as they have it in that agreement and could be recorded with the property that it goes on, so that code enforcement, everything could look at that. Also, the title companies and so forth could do that. As far as businesses, we already know what is there as it's being brought in and is in place there. It's no different than any of the ones we've done in the past. We can go through the pulp directories. We can go back through our records and show that that's what it was. We've had to do, I know the planning department with Jim and Brent has had to make several letters of there and restate what is already there. So that for record-wise is already in place.
Thank you.
Councilmember Polson and then Council President Lyric.
Corey Mango asked my question.
Okay, never mind.
And I'm not sure who would answer my question, but I'm interested in the idea of a couple people brought up cost analysis. And I just want to talk a little bit about the idea of, and often the term is used, the cost-benefit analysis, because it's not only costs. There are things, and Mr. Hepworth brought up the issue of high nitrates that come from, you know, being on septic systems and not on city sewer. And so there's benefits to annexing. There's also any new development now has to meet city standards, not county standards, and our standards are a little more stringent, higher than the counties are. So I want to make sure that when we're talking about what does this cost us, that we also look at the ways in which this benefits us. Safety is another big concern. We're fixing an intersection in an area that has a lot of safety issues. So what are the costs of not doing this is also an important question to ask. And I just wondered if you guys had any comments about that.
Me without a comment is
Rare.
rare. So the cost-benefit analysis, when Becky and Christine put together the analysis for the RAISE grant, was included in that. And that's one of the reasons why we were successful in the grant, is the way they put together that cost-benefit analysis, exactly what you're talking about. The benefit, as I look at this one too, is what's the cost of my life? Every time I go through that intersection, I wonder, you know, where it is and the 3 stop signs within 50 feet of each other, you know, when am I gonna expire from the earth, I guess, so, or there. So I use that as an example instead of somebody else's family or anything else. So I think that's worth the annexation. The cost benefit to the city right now, and it was $7,750,000 to realign everything. So there's a benefit to the city. And I did bring up the county commissioners. The county commissioners, not to throw two penny on the bus, but they weren't excited about helping us. Like I said, I've been working on this back and forth since 2006 with no minimal support or anything there until we were able to secure the grant. And now we have the money, we have the plan. We took the plan and moved it forward. So city staff has been able to do that. So there's that part of the benefit. The county, like I said, wasn't really interested in, status quo was good for them. And then moving forward with as you said, the benefits will come through. I know the way of life. I'd love to be in the county, but we need to be closer to the city also. So again, the legal non-conforming, we're trying to do our best, find out what it is, what can happen, and we've learned that can remain there in place. And again, the benefit right now is that intersection and the safety on this one. Next week, you will hear from Brent and Jim and others. I will be out of town at the work session, but a cost benefit and the analysis on another annexation that will be coming before you real quickly. And so that should help answer questions that you're asking right now. So
Okay.
Thank you. Oh, you got a follow-up?
Jim, I was noticing you were nodding your head. Did you have anything to add, or will? Okay, thanks.
Councilmember Cheatham.
I'm in favor of the annexation, so let me phrase the question I have from that standpoint. Did I understand that if the property that has livestock on it now transfers, that ability would not transfer with the property?
if someone else was to buy that, it's our understanding that the livestock doesn't go with that. That livestock stays with that residence right there at that time. If they sell it, that grandfather doesn't move to the new tenants.
But couldn't that be in the memorialization, that ability did transfer?
If that is a desire in that, I'm sure that could go forward.
My concern, Mr. Mayor, is I think we severely damage the value of the property if that existing use doesn't transfer to a new owner.
Okay, I think we could memorialize it. I'll bring up another question that I would have, if I may, is that some of the parcels are fairly big. And if they are started to be subdivided, then, and through a subdivision process, I would be concerned that how would that be able to be sustainable for the animals, for one. And I bring that up, like my area at the south of town, when it was annexed in, also had some of those rights. And I know some of them still have stuff kind of written as the rights. But as things subdivide, properties now that were 1 acre are broke into, 7,000 square feet lots, which does not sustain that property now.
If I might follow up, to me, that could be written into the memorialization that the existing use of livestock on the property would transfer. But if that use changed, that would be up to the property owner to do, and thus follow on whatever regulations would apply to those smaller parcels, which I think we have in code, if I remember right.
I'm going to say, council member, we, according to code now, if you have over an acre of property, you can have livestock. We just have to apply the code as it is written now anyway. And so if they narrow it down to less than half an acre, it would, quite frankly, be cruel to put 6 animals on that half an acre anyway.
Unless they're awful little.
Well, they'd better be, I guess we have short, small animals.
But that's my concern if we write a memorialization, that we not take away the potential value of that extra land and the ability to have those animals that might be attached to, another residential parcel.
Sure.
And Brent just whispered in my ear that said, yes, we would make sure that remains as long as the use of the land remains, just as you were saying. So
thank you.
We will make sure that happens.
Okay, super. Okay. Any other questions, council?
One more.
One more.
If I can follow up. How close are existing city services like water and sewer to all of these various parcels? Is it going to be a large expense to make sure if those folks want on board, they can?
The water is all accessible to all of the properties that is there currently. Sewer is only accessible at this time with those going down Gaithy Road in that area there that frontages that. We are hoping through this plan, through the grants and added some infrastructure, so before we start doing the roads through the grants and that we can get at least sewer going down Craft Road at the time. But that is still need to be discussed and put in part of the plan, that we have to expend the grant. I think we have till 2032 to complete it, according to the letter I read today, and to 2027 to obligate it. Now, we're going to be on a lot faster track than that, I can tell you. We are excited about this, and as soon as we get the full rules, we'll be initiating what we can do right away.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you.
Super. Any other question? Okay, thank you. And with that, I declare the public hearing closed. Thank you very much. We will move to agenda item number 8. Piggyback bid acceptance, Public Transit Department. Council may wish to accept the recommendations of staff and approve the following piggyback bids, and if approved, authorize the mayor's signature on all applicable documents, subject to legal department review. A, light-duty buses. Georgia State Public Mass Transit Contract Number 99999 SPD 0000121 via ABC Companies for the purchase of 3 urban and 3 rural light-duty turtle-top Terra Transit cutaway buses.
Do they put that in to mess with you?
Say that 5 times fast.
No kidding. Cutaway buses at $160,006 each for a total expenditure of $960,036 with a local match of $96,003.60 urban and $96,003.60 rural. B, medium-duty buses. Georgia State Public Mass Transit Contract Number 99999 SPD 0000212 via ABC Companies for the purchase of one rural medium-duty Turtle Top Terra Transit cutaway buses for a total expenditure of $180,791.75 with a local match of $36,158.35. Rural, and C, heavy-duty bus, Washington State Cooperative Purchasing Agreement number 06719 with Gillig LLC for the purchase of one urban heavy-duty Gillig 29-foot low-floor bus for a total expenditure of $576,217 with a local match of $30,000. Funds for the purchase are available in the Public Transit Department, Urban and Rural Capital Funds. No city funds are used in the rural program.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I would move to approve agenda item 8 as outlined, sections A, B, and C.
Second.
Mr.
We,
Mayor, before we vote on this, can we?
yes,
talk to-
we can. Yes. We have a motion by Mangum and a second by Paulson, and we have a question.
Yes.
We're quick.
Mr. Mayor, Skylar, could you outline where each of these buses will be used, whether they're urban or rural, and if there's a planned route for them? And are these replacing current buses, or is this something new to the fleet?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. Skylar Beebe, the Public Transit Director. So for the 3 urban buses, it'll have a mixed mode between our door-to-door, demand response, and our fixed route service. The other 3 buses will be utilized throughout the rural program. There's no designated area or route for those, for any of them, other than urban program and rural program. The one medium-duty bus is intended for our American Falls commuter, so that'll be rural. And then the heavy-duty bus is intended for urban.
Okay. Are these new buses to the system? Are they replacing something existing, or?
No, yeah, again, sorry, I missed that. Yes, this is replacing existing buses. And each of these buses that are being replaced are very tired, very old.
So we're not trading those, if I could, Mr. Moore, we're not trading, we're going to surplus those down the road then?
Exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
I was kind of hoping you'd ask him to say that 5 times real fast, but you didn't.
The Turtle Top Terra Transit?
That's right.
That's pretty good.
Any other questions? Thank you, Skylar. Okay, we have a motion by Mangum and a second by Paulson. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Mangum?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Cheatham?
Yes.
Lorick?
Yes.
Mansfield?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 9, piggyback bid acceptance for Kenworth dump plow truck purchase, Street Department. Council may wish to approve the piggyback bid of Sourcewell contract number 060920 KTC with Kenworth Sales for the purchase of one 2024 Kenworth T880 with Viking body in the amount of $328,595,034 and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I would move that we approve agenda item 9 as outlined, authorizing your signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review.
Second.
We have a motion by Mangum and a second by Cheatham.
Mr. Mayor, could I ask a question?
We would love a question.
Mr. Mayor, Tom, along the same lines as what I just asked, is this replacements for existing merchandise? If it is, what are we going to do with the old? And what's the delivery time?
Tom Kirkman, Deputy Public Works Director. Currently, we were fortunate enough last year that you allocated some extra headcount to us. So what we're planning on is supplementing this to make additional snow routes. So we're reevaluating that with our staff right now. We're trying to get as many routes as we can with as many trucks as we can, but in that same vein, we're also right-sizing it so that we don't have too many. So that's an ongoing process. When these are delivered, that'll kick that into a little bit higher gear. So if the time comes, we will surplus the old ones. The delivery dates, we're probably looking at 9 to 10 months on this. We are seeing improvements on larger vehicles. We're actually getting garbage trucks in the fiscal year right now, so knock on wood, that keeps going. And was there another question there?
That's it. Thank you.
Any other questions for Tom? Okay, thank you. We have a motion by Mangum and a second by Cheatham. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Mangum?
Yes.
Cheatham?
Yes.
Ulrich?
Yes.
Mansfield?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 10, piggyback bid acceptance for CAT 440 backhoe purchase, Water Department. Council may wish to accept the piggyback bid Sourcewell contract number 032119 CAT via Western States Caterpillar for the purchase of two 2024 CAT 440 backhoes in the amount of $182,000 each for a total expenditure of $364,000 and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I would move to approve agenda item 10 as outlined, authorizing your signature on all pertinent documents, subject to legal department review.
Second.
We have a motion by Mangum, a quick second by Cheatham. Any questions, council?
Yes.
We have a question. Justin? And I have a feeling, Levi, you may as well move up close.
Yeah. Mr. Mayor, Justin, I have the same question I just asked Tom. What is this additional equipment, replacement equipment, and how long do you think it might be?
Good question. Justin Armstrong, Water Superintendent, City of Pocatello. So currently we're leasing two backhoes. They currently have one in stock. One will be on order. It's expected to be delivered sometime late summer, is what we've been told. So, yeah, does that answer both your questions?
So the current leased backhoes, then these will replace those?
These will replace the current leased backhoes.
Thank you.
So, yeah, due to increased interest rates and other things and looking at overall operational costs, it just makes sense to purchase these outright on these particular.
Glad to see it.
I told him Rick would be happy about this instead of the leases.
The leases, we know he doesn't
So
like.
super. Thank you, Justin.
Thanks.
Okay, we have a motion by Mangum and a second by Cheatham. Brianna, could you please call the roll?
Mangum?
Yes.
Cheatham?
Yes.
Ulrich?
Yes.
Mansfield?
Yes.
Nichols?
Yes.
Paulson?
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 11, piggyback bid acceptance for CAT 950 loader purchase, water pollution control. Council may wish to accept the piggyback bid of Sourcewell contract number 032119 CAT via Western States Caterpillar for the purchase of one 2023 CAT 950 loader in the amount of $361,580.18 and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes. Council President Lurick.
Got one. I move that we approve the piggyback bid acceptance for the CAT 950 loader for the Water Pollution Control Department as outlined in agenda item number 11. Authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents subject to legal department review.
Second.
All right.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
can I ask a question before we vote?
Sure. We have a motion by Council President Lurick and a second by Councilmember Cheatham, and we have a question by Councilmember Mansfield.
Levi, this question came to me sitting here. Are we going to be replacing existing equipment? And what's the delivery date on this piece of equipment?
This is actually new equipment. This is going to be part of the new process that we have, the biosolids dewatering piece of equipment that we do need. There, 3 months is the approximate delivery time. We're kind of getting ahead of the game. We won't need it till November, so hopefully you can get in time.
Great.
We really wanted to lease this just so we could buy one and lease one and see if we get Rick's head to explode, but we didn't get that done. But no, we ran through the same analysis as we did. We have, the fleet department does a good job of making sure we're doing ourselves the best we can.
Great. Thanks, Levi.
Perfect, thank you. Any other questions?
Mr. Mayor, since the dewatering project was just brought up by Levi, where do we stand on that? Are we ready to go, or will we
We
soon
are
see that?
moving along on time. It should be complete in November. Substantial complete in sometime in October. There's several facets of the project, but we're going along well.
Super.
Super. It's moving good out there. Things are nice. Thank you, Levi. We have a motion by Council President Lurick and a second by Cheatham. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Lorick,
Yes.
Cheatham,
Yes.
Mangum,
Yes.
Mansfield.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Paulson.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 12, Airport Construction Agreement and Notice of Award, DPATCO. Council may wish to accept the recommendations of staff for the following request regarding an airfield apron pavement reconstruction project at the Pocatello Regional Airport. A, accept the lowest responsive bid from Suncor Corporation, DBA DPATCO, in the amount of $2,179,832.70. And if the bid is accepted, B, authorize the execution of the construction agreement and notice of award and all other pertinent documents between the City of Pocatello and Sunrock Corp. DBA DPATCO in the amount of $2,179,832.70. The purchase will be funded with federal AIP and state of Idaho grant funds and budgeted airport PFC funds. The award and the agreement are subject to approval by FAA, acceptance of the grant offer, and the legal department review.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I would move that we approve agenda item 12, sections A and B as outlined.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mangum and a second by Paulson. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Mangum,
Yes.
Paulson.
Yes.
Cheatham.
Yes.
Lorick,
Yes.
Mansfield.
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 13 is Airport Professional Services Agreement and Work Order, Ordura. Council may wish to accept recommendations of staff and for the following requests regarding the airfield improvement project at the Pocatello Regional Airport. A, approve and authorize the mayor to sign a master professional services agreement between the City of Pocatello and Ordura for the duration bidding, or for the design, bidding, and construction administration of the airfield improvement project through 2028, and if approved, B, authorize the execution of a work order and all other pertinent documents between the City of Pocatello and Ordura in the amount of $269,736.48. Service provided under the work order will be contracted grant and construction administration for the reconstruction of airfield apron pavement. The work will be funded with the federal AIP bill and BIL grants, as well as state of Idaho grant and budgeted airport PFC funds, and is contingent upon grant award and legal department review.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I would move to approve agenda item 13 as outlined, sections A and B.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Mangum and a second by Mansfield. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Mangum,
Yes.
Mansfield.
Yes.
Cheatham.
Yes.
Lorick,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Paulson.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 14, Airport Property Use Agreement, Pocatello TMX. Council may wish to accept the recommendations of staff and approve and authorize the mayor to sign a use agreement with Pocatello TMX for the use of additional airport property outside of their leased area from April 12 through 14, 2024, and October 4 through 6, 2024, for cross-country off-road motocross race. The use fee for each event will be $200.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I would move that we approve agenda item 14 as outlined.
Second. Second.
Okay. Were you finished with your motion?
I mean, yeah.
Okay. We have a motion by Mangum and a second by Mansfield. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Mangum,
Yes.
Mansfield.
Yes.
Cheatham.
Yes.
Lorick,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Paulson.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 15, Airport Resolution Lease Agreement, Cardin Aviation LLC. Council may wish to adopt a resolution and approve a lease agreement with Cardin Aviation LLC for approximately 12,000 square feet of airport property, upon which the tenant will construct an aircraft hangar and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents, subject to legal department review. The lease will be for a 30-year period with 20-year renewal, and the rental rate will be $2,676 per year, and will be increased annually according to the CPI, with a full rate review in 2026 and every 5 years thereafter.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, I would move for approval of agenda item number 15, the airport resolution and lease agreement with Cardin Aviation LLC.
Second.
Thank you. We have a motion by Cheatham and a second by Paulson. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Cheatham,
Yes.
Paulson,
Yes.
Lorick,
Yes.
Mangum,
Yes.
Mansfield,
Yes.
Nichols.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 16 has been pulled from the agenda, so agenda item 17, Professional Services Agreement, Task Order Amendments for Services During Construction, Well Number 2R and Well Number 22R. Council may wish to consider the recommendations of staff and approve the following task order amendments for services during construction under the Professional Services Agreement between the City of Pocatello and Keller Associates, and authorize the mayor's signature on all pertinent documents, subject to legal department review. A, task order number 3, amendment number 2 for the services during construction for the well number 2R project in the amount of $164,900, and B, task order number 4, amendment 1 for the services during construction of the well number 22R project in the amount of $104,700.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I move that we approve the professional service agreement task order amendments for services during construction for well number 2R and well number 22R, as outlined in agenda item number 17, and authorize your signature on all pertinent documents, subject to legal department review.
Second.
We have a motion by Council President Lurick and a second by Councilmember Cheatham.
Question.
And we have a question. Justin.
Mr. Mayor and Justin, during our agenda clearance meeting, we discussed the timeline for these projects. Could you outline that again for the audience at home? And the other thing I'm concerned about is not having this well online going to put any stress on our water needs until this well is online?
Good evening, Justin Armstrong, Water Superintendent. So to answer your first question, the current contract that we have with Star Corporation is for 365 days or a year from notice to proceed. The contractor has submitted their schedule. They anticipate a completion in December of 2024. There are a couple long lead items with pumps and generators. And so, in our hopes, we'll have those by those deadlines. But last year, we fared pretty well with our water production and going into the summer months. It's all subject to the weather and how much usage is put down. But last year, we did not have to issue any conservation or water notices of any kind to restrict any of the usage. So we didn't get to those points. So
thank you.
It's interesting. We're really excited about super hot weather for the swimming pool out there, and we really want cool weather for the water and grass. So we're praying for two different things at the same time. Thanks, Justin.
Yeah, thanks.
We have a motion by Council President Lurick and a second by Councilmember Cheatham. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Lorick,
Yes.
Cheatham,
Yes.
Mangum,
Yes.
Mansfield,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Paulson.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 18, an ordinance. 18A, an ordinance vacating and abandoning the public interest of approximately .4567 acres of right-of-way located on Apex Road and distributing said vacated land to the adjoining property owner, Thomas J. Katslamides. Said vacation was approved by City Council decision dated March 21, 2024, and all conditions therein have been met. Council, how do you wish this ordinance to be read?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move the ordinance agenda item number 18A be read only by title and placed on final passage for publication, and that only the ordinance summary sheet be submitted for publication.
Second.
We have a motion by Mansfield and a second by Mangum. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Mansfield,
Yes.
Mangum,
Yes.
Cheatham,
Yes.
Lorick,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Paulson.
Yes.
Thank you, Jared. Could you please read the ordinance?
Yes, Mayor. An ordinance of the City of Pocatello, a municipal corporation of Idaho, abandoning and vacating the public's interest of approximately .4567 acres of right-of-way located at the easterly end of Apex Road, Bannock County, Idaho, more particularly described on the attached Exhibit A, providing that the public right-of-way herein vacated shall be distributed in its entirety to the adjoining property owner, Thomas J. Katslamides, in accordance with Idaho Code Sections 50-311 and 50-1306A, as deemed to be in the best interest of the owner of the vacated property and for the public good, providing that this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication according to law.
I declare that to be the final reading of the ordinance. Shall the ordinance pass? Aubriana?
Cheatham.
Cheatham,
Yes.
Lorick,
Yes.
Mangum,
Yes.
Mansfield.
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Paulson.
Yes.
Thank you. Agenda item 18B, an ordinance vacating and abandoning the public's interest of approximately .79 acres of right-of-way located across the northwest portion of Pocatello City Hall parking lot and the distributing said vacated land to the adjoining property owner, the City of Pocatello. Said vacation was approved by City Council decision dated March 21, 2024. Council, how do you wish this ordinance to be read?
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
I move the ordinance agenda item number 18B be read only by title and placed on final passage for publication, and that only the ordinance summary sheet be submitted for publication.
Second.
We have a motion by Mansfield and a second by Mangum. Aubriana, could you please call the roll?
Mansfield,
Yes.
Mangum,
Yes.
Cheatham,
Yes.
Lorick,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Paulson.
Yes.
Thank you. Jared, could you please read the ordinance?
An ordinance of the City of Pocatello, a municipal corporation of Idaho, abandoning and vacating the public's interest of approximately .79 acres of right-of-way located across the northwest portion of the Pocatello City Hall parking lot on South 6th Avenue and Sherman Avenue, Bannock County, Idaho, more particularly described on the attached Exhibit A, providing that the public right-of-way herein vacated shall be distributed in its entirety to the adjoining property owner, City of Pocatello, in accordance with Idaho Code Sections 50-311 and 50-1306A, as deemed to be in the best interest of the owner of the vacated property and for the public good, providing that this ordinance shall be in full force and effect from and after its passage, approval, and publication according to law.
I declare that to be the final reading of the ordinance. Shall the ordinance pass?
Cheatham,
Yes.
Lorick,
Yes.
Mangum,
Yes.
Mansfield,
Yes.
Nichols,
Yes.
Paulson.
Yes.
Thank you. We'll move to agenda item 19, items from the audience. This time has been set aside to hear items from the audience not listed on the agenda. Items which appear somewhere else on the agenda will not be discussed at this time. The council is not allowed to take any official action at this meeting on matters brought forward under this agenda item. Items will either be referred to the appropriate staff or scheduled on a subsequent agenda. You must sign in at the start of the meeting in order to be recognized. As a reminder, there's a total of 15 minutes for this agenda item and 3 minutes per person. We may not get to everybody here, but we'll get going. Keith, how do I say your last name, Keith?
Spiegel.
Spiegel?
Only without the money.
Wished you had the money.
I wouldn't know what to do with it.
Yeah.
I always like to start Anything I do out with the Bible verse, or the verse I'm going to use is Revelation 3:9, and these are the actual words of the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. If you had a red letter Bible, they'd be in red. And it says, "Behold, I will make them of the synagogue of Satan, which say they are the Jews and are not, but do lie." The other day, someone sent me a video from a rabbi from the synagogue of Pocatello. It tells us that it's the Jews' job to heal the world. I thought maybe we should go to Palestine and see what they think of that. But anyway, he went on and he said he can't save the world, but he can save Pocatello. He can bring peace to Pocatello by saving the Muslim interpreters and pilots that Biden left behind. Now, I have a heart, and I think we should be reaching out and helping those people, but that's not the only ones that are coming over, is it? That border is wide open, and they're not being checked. They're just flooding in. In case any of you forgot, under UN guidance, we've been bombing the crap out of that area for the last 20 years. Those people don't like us too much, but that's who's coming in. Anyway, I served over in Kuwait and I saw some things, but one thing I saw is that when the men of Kuwait were there, they had their women and children with them. They all had their women and children unless they were single, in which case, a lot of times they had their mothers and fathers. Why? They were fleeing an invading army. Now, after we took care of that army and we were doing the cleanup, guess what we didn't see? Women and children, because no invading army brings their women and children with them. Where'd my picture go? Is there a picture over there? Well, this picture was taken about a week ago. These are middle-aged Muslim men dropped off Walmart. You see what's missing? There's no women and children. You know what that makes them? Anyway, so I thought maybe these people that are importing these guys to our area, maybe they don't fully understand what Muslims are about, at least those Muslims. And so I have an excerpt from people that have been dealing with them for quite some time. And this comes as a parliamentary question from the European Parliament. And it goes, and I quote, "Europe is currently being overwhelmed by a wave of rape committed by Muslim migrants, particularly in Scandinavian countries. The number of rapes of white women and girls is rising. These women are considered by Muslim migrants third-class citizens. In the English town of Rotherham alone," how did 3 minutes go by?
It's quick. Thank you very much. We'll move to Brandy Case.
Good evening, Council and Mayor. May I have Ima come up and advocate for me because it's a little bit of an emotional issue and I won't.
Yeah, your 3 minutes.
My name's Irma Valero, and I'm a resident of Pocatello, and I'm advocating on behalf of Brandy Case here, who also resides in Pocatello. I just wanted to relay to you to bring a grievance that strikes at the heart of justice and compassion within our community. The Pocatello Animal Shelter's decision to adopt out a dog belonging to Brandy Case, despite full knowledge of her ownership. This egregious action not only violates established protocols, but also undermines the trust and integrity of our city animals services. Camo is a Bella French bulldog and holds a special place in Brandy's heart as a memorial adoption for her deceased granddaughter. Her name was Amara Whitworth. Brandy, recognizing the profound emotional significance of this adoption of Camo, diligently followed all procedures to reclaim Camo after he was impounded at the shelter in Pocatello on March 20th. She maintained communication with the shelter and affirmed her ownership with all call records to prove that. Despite Brandy's proactive efforts to provide evidence of ownership, she was shocked to discover that Camo had been adopted out when she arrived at the shelter on Monday, March 25th. The blatant disregard for Brandy's rights as a pet owner is deeply troubling and raises serious concerns about the shelter's adherence to its responsibilities. It's important to note that Brandy's possesses a bill of sale valuing Camo at $7,000 and is awaiting American Kennel Club Association documentation affirming her ownership. These documents further substantiate her rightful claim to camo and underscore the severity of the shelter's negligence in this matter. This incident is not an isolated occurrence. Brandy's prepared to provide evidence to similar injustices happening to other members of our community, highlighting a systemic failure within the shelter's operations. Such negligence cannot be tolerated. Therefore, I implore you, esteemed members of the council, to address the grievance with the Pocatello Animal Shelter with urgency and diligence. We must uphold Pocatello Animal Shelter accountable for its actions and ensure swift return of camo to Brandy, and implement measures to safeguard the rights of pet owners in our community. And I appreciate your consideration in this matter.
Thank you.
Yes.
Brandy, I just have a quick question. Do they have your contact information?
Yes, I put it right here.
I'm talking about the
Animal shelter?
animal shelter has it?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Then we would look at Nikki Taysom.
Thank you.
Hi, Nikki Taysom, General Delivery, Pocatello, Idaho 83201. I refer once again to our Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all, as well as health, happiness, peace, prosperity, unity, and blessings from our Father in heaven when we do obey that. I also refer to the preamble, we the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and do secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, and do ordain and establish the Constitution of the United States of America as the supreme law of this land. That's the 4th and 6th articles as well. Under Section 3, Clause 1, I once again quote, treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against them or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. No person shall be convicted of treason unless on the testimony of 2 witnesses to the same covert act or on confession in open court. I hold this country and our laws, that flag, and the sacrifices of those such as that gentleman sacred. I agree. We have sacred standards for this land. It is God's land of liberty and promise. And those who were allowed to come here by him, he led us here. He led our founders here and our pilgrims here, those who sought and obeyed him. Our North Central South American Native peoples were led here by him. For those who sought and obeyed the laws he established for this land, initially and through our founders as a nation. I have had family serve in the Middle East. I value everyone. Everyone on this earth is a priceless child of God. I oppose communism, fascism, Nazism, anarchy, Islam, Hinduism, Buddhism, animism. We have children being trafficked to some of these people. We have people from these lands, whether it's the European Union, resettlement, whatever you want to call it, that are here in the human and drug trafficking trade. They're here for the treason trade. My family and others have served over there. People have given their lives, others come back shot and maimed. They've laid down their lives and they've come back and said, what happened to America? Well, I was gone. But these people have burned our flag. They have raped our children and women and boys through the hookah bars, through the Wyndham hotels that they own, through the colleges, through the resettlement sites. That is not okay with me. It's not okay with our Father, Mother, Heaven, or Savior, or those who've given their all. It is an act of treason. If you want to come to America, fine. But you denounce and renounce what you came from, and you uphold, obey, and defend willingly to the very laying down of your life if necessary what we stand for, what we present in our laws, including what that flag states. We're not a democracy, we're a republic, and we the people is sovereignty.
Thank you, Nikki, thank you.
And I share it humbly in the
Heather
name of Jesus.
Disselkoen.
My family have experienced those abuses. And God won't be mocked.
Good evening, Council. Heather Disselkoen. For those of you that were on the council back in 21, you probably remember, well, it might have been even early 22. I came before you, I think a total of 3 times. In the fall of 21, we learned from the then CFO that there were some issues with the financial policies. And I pushed the issue. I wanted to see, what he had recommended was a subcommittee of the council to get together, to put together a draft of the policies so that when the CFO was hired, there would already be a working draft in process. So I was encouraged almost 2 years later when I saw on the agenda that the financial policies were finally being dealt with. But I was honestly a little bit discouraged because there wasn't a lot of direction given by council. It seems like it's been a very hands-off type process. It's not that I have any doubts in the draft that's going to be presented to you. I just firmly believe that when you're drafting something as important as policies, and this is one of the most important duties that you have besides the budgeting and the fiscal oversight, is creating the laws for the citizens and creating the policies for the operations of the city. I just think you end up with a better product the more people that are involved with that, the more eyes on. What I'm concerned with is that this will come before you in a work session. There'll be a quick run through of it. There might be a few questions. And then the next week, it'll appear on agenda. And I'm hoping and I'm encouraging you to open up that process to allow for employee input and to allow for some public input, because these policies are important. There's a benefit to you being involved in that. One thing is, I think that if you'll be more vested in the policy. You'll understand some of the statutes behind what drives those policies, whether that's Idaho statutes or best practices from the GFOA. So that's what I'm just here to bring to your attention, because I know that those things are in process right now. You've seen some different sections of it thus far, but I would hope that you would consider forming a subcommittee and getting more involved with that and allowing more time for that for other individuals, including the employees, to present their ideas on those policies. Appreciate your time.
Thank you. And thank you, Heather. And Heather's been very involved, but I can't let this go there. I just want to correct the thing. We never had issues with the financial policies. We've had the financial policies. They've been solid. They've been financially sound. The city's in financial sound position because of those policies. These policies are being looked at, and our CFO is working very hard and diligent with a committee and with people to make changes as needed. But we're probably not going to see a full overhaul of these financial policies. But I do want to correct, there were never any issues with the financial policies. And so I can't let that go without being said. Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
I would also like to decry some of the hateful statements that came out at this meeting and during public comment. Our city is a welcoming city, and all those of any faith, of any ethnicity are welcome in our city. And I hope that those people feel of the welcomeness of this council.
Super. Thank you very much. Thank you with that. Thank you for bringing that back up too as well. Thank you for attending tonight and for being here. And we will, with that, we are adjourned.